Tonight, the Lee County Sheriff has more to say about why he may refuse to let his deputies provide security at an upcoming FGCU concert. After the ACLU accused him of engaging in content discrimination, he now says media coverage is, quote, confusing the issue. In his latest email, he says it is well within my right and responsibility as sheriff to question the event. But what exactly is he questioning? We're laying out the sheriff's numerous statements on this so you can decide for yourself.
It all started when concert organizers booked performers Ludacris and Kendrick Lamar to perform at a school event known as Eaglepalooza at a county park. The performers' past use of the N-word and references to violence seemed to catch the sheriff's attention. And in an email the sheriff provided to the media, it was clearly the only focus as he wrote to FGCU President Wilson Bradshaw that, quote, I would think that you would be especially opposed to anyone or any act tied so closely to the university that spews the N-word, adding this about whether his deputies would be on hand at the concert. Quote, I was already reviewing our options in terms of whether or not we will work this event, and quote, we have refused to work other events. The sheriff never mentions permitting, instead keeping the tone personal, writing, quote, as a parent of an FGCU graduate and a current FGCU senior, I am very disappointed. In a separate email days later, the sheriff wrote, quote, it is often said specific talent draws a specific audience, a point he later drove home in a phone interview with Fox 4, contrasting the hip-hop star's appeal with a country music star whose hits include a song called Jesus Take the Wheel.
The hip-hop genre tends to convey and in some cases incite a different type of a hysteria. When you're talking about, putting a cap in somebody and bitches and hoes and, the N-words and that stuff, it's a little bit different than, Carrie Underwood asking somebody to take the wheel or something,
In the sheriff's initial emails on the subject, he seems to focus on the racially charged nature of his concerns, mentioning everything from Paula Dean's use of the N-word, the local NAACP, the portrait of Robert E. Lee in the county commission chambers, and hip-hop nights in Fort Myers. But in his latest emails on the subject, the sheriff suddenly drops any mention of all that, saying instead it's about permitting processes. And even though his previous emails acknowledge that he's discussed the concert with FGCU's president and police chief, he says FGCU has never approached his office about the event, unlike, he says, the organizers of a recent local event called the Redneck Games, which he calls a perfect example where he worked with organizers to provide security.
An FGCU spokeswoman tells us the school president will not be commenting on the sheriff's comments, quote, about race or Eaglepalooza, but does say the school will be submitting a permit application, which is submitted to a separate county department, which then consults with the sheriff's office.